Welcome to No Hacks Max, a series of short interviews with experimenters, optimizers, marketers, and product builders from all over the world. In this one, I talk to product and experimentation expert Nils Stotz about how AI will change A/B testing and experimentation in the future. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this. Nils, I have a question for you. How will AI impact A/B testing and experimentation?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on this, right? And I think about it like in two dimensions. And the first dimension is rather the sort of like process of experimentation. And the second one is a bit more visionary about like how AI could actually help the biggest problem of experimentation, which is the traffic situation, right? And so when it comes to the experimentation lifecycle, or like the experimentation process, I feel, we essentially have to just map out like each of the different steps that exist in experimentation. So idea generation, hypothesis generation, prioritization, design, and so forth, right? You can think of any step in this process. You can essentially use AI to at least facilitate or support you. Nothing prevents me on describing like a user problem and asking ChatGPT right now, give me 10 hypotheses around this, right? This is super easy. And I think this is something that that can help us a lot. And so this is the one dimension. The second dimension is, of course, what about if AI or if artificial participants actually replace the participants that we currently trying to recruit, right? And I think if you imagine something like this, many people react like very like, wow.
I'm not a fan. Let me just jump in and say I'm not a fan, but please continue.
What I find interesting about these two dimensions is that they create completely new questions for us. For example, the first question that is very interesting for me in the procedural sort of realm is, when AI takes over part of these processes, and especially major, let's say, decisive parts like prioritization, so essentially AI tells us what to work on next. Many people would say this is not very motivating. Like, I would not work for a company, or I would not like to work for a product that tells me what to do next, because I don't know, it would just not be motivated. And I always give the example of like these warehouses, that are very automized. So there it's very challenging to actually keep the engagement and keep the motivation high because it's just so automated, You stand in front of a desk and you basically get told, pick this, pick this, pick this. And, this causes a lot of friction and causes a lot of new problems. And I'm wondering if this is also then maybe at some point even affecting like, high knowledge jobs, if you have to pay attention to this more then. That's sort of like the first interesting question. And I'll pause, we can already...
No, this is yes, my stance on AI. Please, let's not try to replace creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just stop there and let's focus on solving real world problems.
Mm-hmm.
Hunger, homelessness, all that stuff, before we burn more money training these models to do things that we as humans are good at and even, I would say, evolved to do. Let's not try to replace humans. Let's try to replace the boring parts of human existence and not the creative ones. This is my take, and even if I have to die on that hill, I'll happily die on that hill, even if I'm alone.
Yeah, but why are you? Why would you? Are you afraid of losing the creative skill?
No. This is not about being afraid. This is about me thinking this is not what we should be doing. This is not what we should be trying to replace. There's a very rewarding thing about doing a drawing of something like urban sketch. You sit down, you in a cafe, you draw something. ChatGPT can generate that in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But the whole point of that experience of you creating something is what we as humans should be fighting for.
Yeah.
That is my take.
This is deep, and I agree. I think you know, I mean, you also create a lot of stuff and you also have a lot of digital products. And I get exactly what you mean, because it is just hard to describe, but, you know, creating something, putting it out there and seeing that people actually give you, you know, like feedback and say, hey, this is great or something. It feels really good. It gives you a lot of appreciation. And of course, this would be horrible if something like this is lost, because you think like, well, actually, I didn't do anything. It was just something. And I probably don't even get like the full recognition for it because I just, you know, like created the functional process for it or something, right?
So I think what I have trouble with is understanding why people are excited about the possibility for that to be taken away.
Yeah.
And there are things AI should absolutely be doing, but that is to free up time for us to do more creative stuff and more of the human things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's a very good challenge. Yeah, I really like this.
But of course, like in digital, in optimization, there's so many things that AI was made for, and that's making your life easier and a lot of other people's lives easier, and it should be used for. But yes, so what will happen in the next 3 years? I want to hear your take on how AI will change. Let's say January 2028. What will be different?
That's a difficult one, because I think it's a very staged thing, right? I think what companies in general need to work on more is to integrate this, or like, let's say, enable the teams more to just use this however they feel like, right? So when I work somewhere, they should provide me like it can be like a chat tool still, right? We can still chat, and like 10 years later, we'll probably laugh about that we ever did this, but we can still use this. And, you know, it should be no problem to paste all sorts of stuff inside and use this. It just be safe, right? That there is no compliance issue. There is no issue with like sensitivity and things like this. So this is something that I would expect happens until then, because when you think about like companies that are very depend on the knowledge that they developed over the years, so especially consulting companies, they're very much into this. So I don't know if you heard, PwC is the biggest customer of OpenAI, right? So this is very much inside of their culture. So they say people should do like how do they call this? This prompting parties. I don't know if you heard about this.
Prompting parties? No, please tell me more. Please.
So essentially like workshops where they're just thinking about, okay, what could be a use case for AI? So they basically sit together and be like, all right, so what troubles you? Like what takes a lot of time away from you?
Right.
And then they sit together and think about, okay, how can we use AI for this and prompt for this? And I think that's the right approach, because you need to think through how can this facilitate your daily life, right?
Yep.
I think that's, and knowing, like, we always think like, you know, when a new technology comes up, we always think like, oh, this will, you know, like in 3 years, we will all be like robots basically, but it's way slower than that.
Oh,
and
100%.
I think in like 3 years, we will be at a level where every company is just expected to have this more insight of their daily doing. It should be secure. And ideally, some more advanced companies might have this already like more integrated in like very company specific tools, so that just the friction of going to like another chat space or a chat interface is not there anymore.
Right.
And I think this should be faster and faster. And at some point, then the big changes are probably like, more far away, like 5 to 10 years.
I love that take. We have to wrap it up here because of the 10-minute limit. Nils, thank you for this interview. I will see you soon.